Here inside Quicken Loans Arena, Chris Fedor, Joe Vardon, and Chris Haynes as we recap a Cavs win, the second one in a row for the Wine and Gold. 118-111 the final tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans. And guys, what can you say, Chris? LeBron-James, fantastic. His first triple-double in the second go-around with the Cavs. He was outstanding.
He's really returned to form. I don't think he lost a step, or I don't think he's been a little sluggish. I think he's just been trying to figure out David Blatt's offense and where he fits at, trying to make sure guys are going to get comfortable. We all know he's going to come to form eventually, but it was all about making sure Kyrie-Irving gets set. Because Kyrie-Irving, this first time playing without the ball significantly, like he is right now. So you want to make sure he gets guys comfortable. And tonight, I think tonight and that game in Denver, I think we were just starting to see him take onus of the game and let people know that this team is going to go by me and die by me, and he's just doing that.
Joe, head coach David Blatt said it in the postgame. He said in the third quarter, LeBron sensed the moment and he just took over. Yeah. LeBron has been passive, like Chris has said. Tonight he was aggressive and he showed what he was capable of.
Well, it's funny because I'm of the opinion that this was good to see tonight out of him. That I don't want to say I was getting nervous, but it was just good to see him flying above the rim, taking control as he did. But then I'm thinking through this, and then I remember the Cavs have played 6 games. He's got 3 games over 30 points already. He's leading the team in assists like he always does. And so I think Chris is really right. It's just more of a product of the expectations being so high for this team that people were looking for things from LeBron that either were unreasonable or were actually there and we were missing it. He's fine.
Yeah, and Chris, it's not all just LeBron-James. Kyrie-Irving chipped in, tied LeBron for the team lead in points tonight with 32. Kevin Love in the fourth quarter when LeBron-James was resting, the Cavs scored 9 points, all Kevin Love, all three-pointers. It was good to see the big three all get it together on the same night. We haven't seen that in the first 5.
And particularly for Kevin Love, in particular to tonight's game against Anthony Davis, he had to play a little bit differently. You didn't see Kevin Love inside at all. Much of that was because Anthony Davis. You all know you're not going to get a pretty quality shot against Anthony Davis. So what he did was he took Anthony Davis out on the perimeter, kept Anthony Davis away from the basket, which allowed for the Cavs to go in and attack the basket. You saw LeBron attacking. He was able to get those easy finishes down there because Anthony Davis was taking care of Kevin Love out in the perimeter. So Kevin Love did something that didn't show on the stat sheet. Kyrie-Irving, I'm really proud of this young kid because he's adjusting on the fly and he's doing it really quickly because he hasn't ever in his life really played off the ball. You can say, Olympics team, whatever. That's a little stints in there. But in his NBA career, college, high school, he's never really played off the ball. He's doing that now, and he's thriving in it. And so if he can keep doing that, if he could buy into that, this team, and the sky's the limit.
Tale of two halves for the Cavs. A little sluggish in the first half, outscored 56-51 at halftime. But in the second half, Joe, the offense really picked up 67 points for the Cavs in the second half, and 61 came from the big three of Kyrie-Irving, LeBron-James, and Kevin Love. And Kyrie-Irving in particular just went nuts in the third quarter.
Yeah, they really did. If you think about Kyrie-Irving's 32 points, he also had 9 assists. Yeah. It's just a tremendous sign of his growth, and obviously it's just vitally important for this team going forward. Throughout the year, you're not going to want 90% of the points or whatever it is to come from 3 guys. You're going to need more to chip in, but this was the kind of game where you would want LeBron to kind of impose his will, and for Kyrie-Irving and Kevin Love to sort of complete that triangle as the big three, and that's what we saw tonight. Again, it's another positive sign.
When you talk about the differences between the first half and the second half, what stands out to you, Chris?
Second half, I think they made an adjustment on Ryan Anderson. Ryan Anderson was definitely that X factor in the first half, and the reason he was such a problem because bigs are not accustomed to going down on the defensive end and stopping at three-point line. They go down, they go straight towards the paint. Ryan Anderson, when he's coming down, he's not going to that paint. He's stopping at the three-point line. He got about 3 or 4 or 5 just wide open threes. And if you're going to give him that, just turn around and go the other way because that basket is going in. But David Blatt in the second half made an adjustment, put Sean Murray on him, put a guard, put a perimeter-oriented guy on him where he's not going to leave Ryan Anderson. And then on top of that, Ryan Anderson's not quick enough to get the step and get a good shot off like he was doing against Anderson Varejao, Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love, and those guys. So I think it was that adjustment on Ryan Anderson that definitely got them back in the game, because 23 points in the first half and I think it was 9 in the second half. So they definitely did their thing on him.
There's another thing here tonight, folks. The Cavs win 118-111, second win in a row for the Cavs. The New Orleans Pelicans are a darn good basketball team, and head coach David Blatt said that in the postgame. Chris, if they were in the Eastern Conference, I know a lot of people overlook New Orleans because they've got the funky nickname and they never get to see them and they're not on national TV a lot. If they were in the Eastern Conference, where do you think they would stand?
They'd be a top 3 team. I still will put the Cavs in Chicago above them, but there's no doubt about it. It'll be a top 3. I hate why you have to go there. Why we got to do these hypotheticals? Why do we have to go if they were in the East? If Phoenix Suns were in the East, where would they be in the East? What's your take on that? Let me ask you the question.
They'd probably be a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference.
All right, hypothetical.
I just want people to understand how impressive this win was and how good the New Orleans team is.
So you don't think everybody knows that they're a good team? They're doing good things over there in the Western Conference.
Nobody's paying attention.
Who's nobody? That's the best conference in the NBA. Why nobody's paying attention?
Because they're in the Western Conference, and Cavs fans don't often get a look at Anthony Davis and the New Orleans Pelicans. So I'm just putting it in perspective. Here's another hypothetical for both of you, actually. And I asked this before the game, and you're going to smack me for asking this. It's a hypothetical question, okay? If you're the New Orleans Pelicans and the Cleveland Cavaliers were to call you and say, hey, we'll give you LeBron-James for Anthony Davis, what would you say if you were the Pelicans?
That phone call, you know.
Joe's gonna get a job for NOLA.com. That's what it is.
This is the this is the segment of the show where you two scream at each other and I stand here awkwardly and watch. I'm sure that a security guard or the marching band is going to come in here next. I don't know. That's not it's not a phone call that's coming, my friend.
I understand it. That's why it's a hypothetical, Joe. It's okay to answer the question. Do you think New Orleans would say yes to that, or do you think they'd say no? Anthony Davis is 21 years old. He's a top 5 player in the game. LeBron's 29. I'm just asking questions here.
Would New Orleans say yes to LeBron? That's the question you're asking me. I think they would say no. But if they're talking about winning a championship right now, I think they will take LeBron.
I'd agree with that. Hey, I'm just asking questions here. The final tonight, 118-111. Cavs' second win in a row. The one thing that needs to continue to get better, David Blatt said it after the game, defense. 111 points given up to the New Orleans Pelicans, but that's something that the Cavs are going to try and focus on. They're not back in action again until Friday night in Boston. For Joe Vardon, who doesn't like to answer my questions, and Chris Haynes, I'm Chris Fedor. Keep it on cleveland.com/Cavs. We've got continuing coverage throughout the night and into the morning.